What's up, guys, and welcome to Phantom Files. Kyle.
I'm Jason.
The killer, not from the movie. Anyway, and we are. Welcome on in. Everyone go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Amber with Illuminate the Beyond. Got a couple of my teammates with me.
And your teammates are... Let's start with Chase the Moon.
I'm Little Amber. With Illuminate the Beyond.
And Ashley? Oh,
no.
Wait, you're muted.
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
Illuminate the Beyond.
All right. So where are you guys based out of?
Central Kentucky.
Awesome.
Kentucky.
Kentucky, great. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and your team, like how it came together, how long y'all have been a team, that kind of thing.
So we actually met through a different team that Ash, me, and Philip used to be on, and that Little Amber had gone on several investigations with us. And actually, Philip's known Little Amber since high school, so he's got kind of a long-standing friendship with her. And I think both Ash and I just kind of clicked with Little Amber when we met her at those other investigations. And we just kind of didn't necessarily agree with the direction that the previous team was going. And we just kind of broke off, and then slowly we've kind of started gaining traction doing our own thing and just kind of having a good time and, being relaxed.
Nice.
So how long ago was that you guys all broke off and reformed the super group?
So Philip and I left it late October, and then Ash, I can't remember, was yours around Thanksgiving? And then Philip and I had decided that we were going to do at least a duo about the time that we left the previous group, but we didn't know if we were going to just do a duo or make it like a team kind of atmosphere. And then after I mentioned to Philip that I kind of might be interested in bringing in the girls, as well as our friend Jamie, he basically kind of left it up to me. He was like, I'm completely fine to make it just us. He was like, but I'm not opposed to a team at all. And the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, why would we not offer the advantage of, being able to say that you're part of a team? Because I don't know if you guys have this where you're from, but there are some places that you can only access as part of a team, that'll only let a team rent out the place. So so there are some places where you have to say, you have to be a team member with an actual paranormal group. And there's some places that want like a year of verifiable experience as you being part of a team, not just like some person independent that wants to rent out the place and, potentially do some weird stuff at night.
Yeah. Now that we have experienced with one of the places down in Wilmington. That we have experienced. But needing to be a part of a team, we have not.
That was really the main kind of thing. I really, don't get me wrong. When we were going places, these roles were always going to be invited to go with us regardless. But I thought, if we actually form a team and they're part of that team, then that allows them as an extension of the team to go and do things independent if they wanted to. So that's kind of where the idea of, actually forming a team rather than just being a duo came from. And so branches were extended.
Nice.
Nice. Sweet. So, since you guys have been, I actually forgot we had it. So, since you guys have become a group, have you guys ever done, I know you guys have done investigations, do you guys ever do house calls? Like private residences and things like that? Has anyone called you to be the Ghostbusters?
I've done a couple on the previous team. We've had a couple of reach out to us, but to be honest, I came up with a form because I don't want us to get in a number one potentially dangerous situation, and number two, get into a situation where somebody thinks that we're going to do something that we're not going to do. So I kind of have a survey that I've sent to a few people. Basically, one, if you're willing to complete this, I know you're actually serious. Number two, the questions on it kind of help us to potentially eliminate some possible non-paranormal factors without even necessarily stepping into the building. And then also, it lets me know what their goal is, because one of the questions out there is what specifically are you hoping to get from this? Because I know that the private residences that I have done, they were just wanting validation. And I'm completely fine with validation, but I also tell people, this is your home. If there are spirits there, they're familiar with you, and they're going to probably react differently to other people than they do to you. So if we don't have the same experience, that does not mean there's potentially nothing there. It just means that we didn't have the same experience. But
Yeah.
I try to relate, and the girls might have a different stand on this, but I just kind of feel like spirits are typically people without bodies, and so they have preferences and fears and comforts and things just like we do. And I think that's the biggest thing, is I want to make sure that if we did go to a residence, that they are not wanting something that we could not provide. I'm not going there claiming to like cast things out or diagnose what exactly is in your residence. I just, if you want validation and that's it, I am completely fine to do that. If you want something else and you give me the information that I'm requesting, I will review your information and I will see if I can get you to the best possible resource based on the information you've provided me. And I think
That's
that's
pretty
probably
awesome.
I think that's probably how Ash and Amber feel too. I think honestly, one of the reasons that I wanted them is because even though we do have like some different views on things and different skills and different abilities, I feel like our core values and goals are pretty typically the same. Like, we want to help people and want people to be comfortable. And I think we want to form a relationship with spirits at locations and kind of get their story.
I definitely understand that.
I mean, I agree completely. It's all about getting the messages from the spirits and their side of like what really happened to them and telling their story of it.
I see. So I'm glad you mentioned that you specifically ask what they're looking for, because I was definitely going to follow up with, have you gotten anyone to try and go ask you for an exorcism or anything crazy like that?
So the two people that were referred to me, one of them, I get a vibe that they want kind of something like that. And to be honest, the way that the interaction has come from that individual, I'm not sure that it's necessarily paranormal as much as it is mentality of the individual. And that's just basically based on the conversation that has come back from that person. I don't want to say, obviously I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, but there's issues with like basic sentences there, like to where the comprehension, like I'm just like, I didn't understand some of the responses as far as even being intelligible sentences, and it was typed out. So,
Gotcha.
But
yeah,
but his messages started out very easily comprehensible. So I don't know if it's something added to the system or something needed possibly added to the system. But and that's kind of one of the reasons that I wanted to do that type of survey, was because it'll kind of give me a feel for the person interacting back and forth, and then also the information that they provide.
Okay.
Absolutely, and good call on that, because you should definitely vet your potential clients for sure.
not only that, but also team members.
Of course. And
Because you
that's
want to make sure that everybody meshes well and everybody, basically has similar goals.
yeah, and that's a given in any organization for
Yeah.
sure. That's why there are applications. So, speaking of that, actually, that was a terrible segue. But well, so kind of this may be kind of a round robin deal, but so kind of we always like to ask what made you kind of seek answers in the paranormal, or kind of what triggered that? What was the spark that started the fire?
Ash, we'll go with you first since I've talked the most and then little Amber. So, Ash, step on up.
Spark.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, nice headphones.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Well, I've always been an empath since I was a kid, and seeing spirits myself got me. I've always loved the paranormal, and so I was at Scarefest, and I had always wanted to investigate. I just didn't know that I could investigate teams with teams, and so it was pretty cool when I ran into them. And they were like, "Yeah, come with us." And so when I did, I fell in love, and I knew like this was something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And I've never left their side.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh, my turn.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what got me interested is I'm an 80s baby, so I grew up in the 90s. And growing up in the 90s, everything was like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And and everything paranormal anyways. So I grew up reading like ESP books and all the ghost story books and everything like that. And I actually used to play games with my sister of doing like intuition games, not knowing it was intuition games. Like we would have the star circle square in front of us, and then she would guess like what it was, or I would guess what it was, and I had no clue that was actually building intuition. No clue. But we would do things like that. And then let's see. So then just growing up with the ghost stories, and later on, actually, my sister, who I grew up doing all that stuff with, she passed away 3 years ago in a car wreck. And things like that, just wanting to know what's on the other side, and that kind of thing. Once you kind of lose family members, it kind of makes you want to say, oh, there's got to be more, you know? And of course, like Ash, I'm a empath as well. I've always been that way. And then after my sister passed, I actually started being able to see spirits. So it just kind of clicks, you know? So you just kind of want to see more, and you want that validation.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's
I
kind
guess.
of
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
yeah. It seems like it's really just
Okay.
been always there with you. You just kind of
Right.
work at it.
It's
and
always
figure
there, and then it
out.
just kind of
Yeah.
pushed more and more and more. So, and then
Yeah.
I started talking to Philip and Amber, and then they were like, "Hey, go on these with us." And then I went there, and then went on investigation with them, and then just kind of fell in love with all of it. So, just got to learn more tech.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a tech guru. I got to learn that.
Yeah. Or find someone that's good at it and let them do it for you.
There we go.
Let Philip.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've got Kyle here to help me run the podcast and YouTube, and help me with tech stuff out in the field. And then we have another guy named Angel who actually builds equipment.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a very stand-up
Wow.
guy.
Electronics guru.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Work smarter,
Engineer.
not harder, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Diversify the
I
portfolio.
did want to say one thing. I did want to make a comment though. You were asking like what got me into the paranormal. I mean, obviously, I've been able to see them my whole life, but more importantly is like being able to have that kind of sensitivity. You see things on a different level rather than wanting to just go in and investigate and see, oh, did you see that? Or, oh, let's get this. Or, like, let's stir up some crap in and leave, right? And so it was always like something I always wanted to do to help on the other side because I could be an asset to helping both sides. Being as a paranormal investigator and learning more on that side, but also being sensitive as well.
Yeah.
And which is great because all three of us are sensitive.
Yeah, it's
Right.
it's absolutely it's a very human thing to we pretty much we only live on one side of the spectrum there, so we're constant, whether it be thrill seekers who can only live when they're that close to death, or anyone else they like to yeah, after our experience we're I don't think we're up for anything too thrill seekingly, but
No.
but yeah, it's very human to want to know more about the other side, or just for rather personal I kind of lost the train of thought there, but yeah, either to get closer or to be closer to those who have passed,
Yeah.
or to just learn more about the world around us, because there are statistically, think about how many billions of dead humans in history versus how many are alive now.
Yeah. I mean,
The
honestly,
dead tell
not
us a
even
lot
just
more.
humans, but animals as well.
True, yeah.
We've definitely seen some stuff, at least on some videos on YouTube. I know 99.9% of it you can't believe in anyway, but there was
Are you talking about the cat?
cat that went through the door? What the?
Yeah. Oh, that was wicked.
Yeah.
That was pretty
But I
wicked.
mean, there's definitely something to be said about trying to reach the other side, whether it be for knowledge or to reach out to a loved one and hopefully feel their presence again.
And hopefully
Yeah.
not for your car's extended warranty.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that definitely ties our group together is that we're in it not just for the experience or the entertainment value of it, but the actual like emotional bond that you can form with somebody that's not even physically present with you, and the information that you can get from somebody that's not physically present. I think that all of us are extremely interested in that. And I think that's one of the things that I had somebody ask me a question recently, and I had to think about it for a second. But so the question was, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be called a ghost hunter, or do you want us to call you a paranormal investigator? And, a lot of people probably think those are synonymous. But to me, I don't want to be called like a ghost hunter, because that is, to me, the people that are in it for the drama factor and the entertainment value, the shock and awe, and not necessarily actually looking for evidence, or trying to make those emotional connections and get that information. So I really, myself personally, paranormal investigator just resonates with me and for the things that I want out of the experience much more than like ghost hunter.
Yeah. I definitely understand that as well. That's very succinctly put.
Heck yeah. So we got a good idea of what kind of got you into it. So along
Well, we didn't actually hear Amber. What got her into it. We heard about Little Amber and Ash. So Amber,
yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a little winding road. So growing up, from about the time I was 7 and then up, I had a lot of clairaudience. Like I would hear things that were not there. I would hear my name called all the time. I didn't have as much seeing things. I think one of the biggest experiences I had where I saw something was my sister and I went with my parents to an antique furniture shop when we were probably in our early teens, and we were on the second floor. The lights were not on because it was downtown and it was broad daylight, so the light was just coming through the windows of the second story of the building, but it was just stacked with like beds, vanities, all this old furniture. And mom and dad were downstairs looking around because they were looking for something specific for the house that they had at the time. But of course, we just kind of wandered away because we were like boring. Meh. So we went upstairs. We're wandering around. I'm wearing glasses, obviously. I was wearing glasses then, and a bright ball of light shot past me. And not in like the direction that like, you know, a light bouncing off of a car would have come. But the first thing I did was go like this to look out the windows and see if there was a car. The next thing I did was start going like this to try to see if there was, you know, any light reflecting off of the glasses that I could see. So then I was like, okay, maybe I stepped past it. So I stepped back and started doing the same thing. My twin sister, yes, my twin sister, was about 1.5 feet behind me, and she said, "You saw it too, didn't you?" So I was like, well, "What'd you see?" And she was like, "The bright light." And I was like, okay, so it wasn't just me. So that was like one of the only things that I saw. But I had instances like I would be dreaming and I would get information that there's no way that I should have had. Like I can remember there was a dream where I was the one that stands out the most. I was climbing stairs while I was dreaming. And I don't remember too much except for that I was climbing stairs. It was like an old kind of sepia, like brown, you know, brown, black, white kind of feel, like old westerny kind of feel. But I'm climbing stairs and there's picture frames on the wall. And it's just a picture of a person and like a birth year and a death year. Like no names, anything like that. But I woke up bouncing off the bed. So apparently in my dream, I had like stood up and was like, you know, stepping and then fell backwards. Well, a few days later, we were going through boxes of pictures that were in our garage, and a picture came out of a box, and I said, "I know who that is." And my dad was like, "Okay, who is it?" And I was like, that's your mom. Like that's grandma. Well, she died when I was 3 months old. I never met her. And they lived across the country. So, you know, and it was before the time of like, you know, Zoom and things like that. So I had never seen her. No idea how I knew her. But I knew that was his mom. And so that, you know, things like that would happen. But the hearing things, as I got into my early 20s, it got so invasive that I just kind of shut it off. But because I knew that there was stuff that I wanted to check out, I had started, you know, just really amateur, low budget investigations when I went to Western Kentucky University. And I had done some investigations down there, but you know, equipment wasn't what it is now. And finding locations wasn't as easy as it is now. Like nobody wanted to admit that there might be something going on. And if they did, they dang sure didn't want like randos coming into their house or their property and checking it out. So it's much more accessible now than it was then. So I gave that up relatively quickly just because costs and resources and all of that. But as it got into my 20s and I would just be driving down the road and think somebody was in my back seat because I would hear my name coming so loud at me that I would be driving down the road like this looking for somebody in the back seat. So I kind of shut myself off. And then I didn't leave the thought alone. So Philip and I, when we got together, I was watching ghosty shows and kind of he was interested in the ghosty shows too. So we were always sitting there watching our ghosty shows together. And one of his mom's coworkers was actually the founder of the team that we were on before. And so that's kind of how we like shoehorned back into the environment of actually being able to do stuff. And there's so many more resources and so much more availability now than there used to be. It's crazy.
So I got a question. Well, not a question, more of a it's a question, semi whatever. So speaking of ghosty shows, everybody has seen Ghost Adventures, everybody has seen Ghost Hunters, Twin Paranormal, and all these other shows you can find on YouTube, Discovery, and all that. What is something that you would say to a beginner, novice, someone who has not done their own investigations yet, what is something that you would say to them about the ghost shows?
Do not watch Ghost Adventures. Just don't. Like, it's good for entertainment value.
Yeah.
But as far as actually learning or developing anything from it, it like I wish, I was saying this the other day, and Ash, let me know if you agree, but I feel like with those shows, there should be a way that in our community you can announce if you're there for like entertainment and shock value, or if you're there for actual like investigative like methods and education.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like those shows almost need that same sort of thing, because I really hate to think that there are some people out there that are like I was in my 20s that really want to get invested in the paranormal community, but maybe they
That's
come from
their
a super religious
experience.
background, or they're super reserved, and seeing a show where they're constantly spouting the D word every time something, you know, blows in the wind, you know,
Yeah.
that might dissuade them from actually checking into what's around them that they can't necessarily see, because the shock and awe is, it's entertaining. I mean, especially if you want a drinking game or something, but
Indeed.
but like, you know, it,
We've
you know,
talked
unless
about
you
that.
yeah, you need to limit though, because you would die of like, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
alcohol poisoning or something with some of those with him.
Oh yeah.
But I would hate to think that seeing something that they think portrays what we really do would frighten somebody away from forming their own experiences and conclusions about what we actually do.
What about Little Amber and Ash? What do y'all think? Do y'all feel the exact same, or is there a little bit difference between what y'all think and what Amber thinks?
Well, I mean, basically, I agree with her. I would just tell people that TV is for entertainment, but take it at face value. Just know, like, don't always believe everything, and that every team investigates different, and it's however your style is. And just be open minded.
Big one.
And then,
That's a
like,
very big
if someone that's new, I would always, especially like when I was new, Amber helped me out a lot. But I watched all the paranormal shows, and I was like, oh, is there demons here and all that kind of stuff? And she really had to like teach me, like, you need to see more than one device that's gonna like collaborate, rather than, oh, it's going, like, the REM pod's going off, and I'm like, oh, it's ghosts, you know, like. So there's certain things on how to like help people understand, like, it's really not that exciting as TV, you know?
Yeah.
It can be,
Yeah.
but it's not all that hype. Like, we don't go in and screaming at ghosts because it's disrespectful. You don't intimidate them or whatnot, you know, like, there's a different way. But not everybody is the same. So they form their own opinion and go with that.
Hey, little Amber, let me know if you agree with this. If you're going to watch ghosty shows and you're not actually already into paranormal investigation, I recommend the very early Ghost Hunters.
I knew where
The
you were
very
going with that.
early.
Said the
Yes,
exact same
like the
thing.
early taps.
Yes,
Yes.
because I feel
Yes,
like
Yes.
that is the closest to what we actually do.
Mainly, I talked to Philip about this actually, and I
You
said,
did. That's so funny.
yeah, because I was telling him, I was like, that one showed how many hours they sat down to review all of the stuff that they got. And
And the
it's just
actual efforts of
hours.
debunking and all of that.
Yes, going back through, trying to debunk, you know, like, okay, that wasn't this. And they showed the stuff that they debunked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, this wasn't actually it. You know? That's what I liked so much about it, because not everything is paranormal,
Exactly.
you know?
It is
And
far
that's
more
definitely one of the
genuine.
things I've mentioned too, is, you know,
You
if
said that exactly.
you know, the first 3-4 seasons, maybe 4 seasons, but I wouldn't go beyond that with Ghost Hunters, because that's when you get a lot of exaggeration with a few things, and then they stop showing how much time that they actually spend in review. They stop showing, you know, how much they try and debunk and things like that.
And I think the TV network has a lot of reasoning on that,
Yes.
because they are trying to drive those ratings. So, but I do have to say, at least they don't go the way of Zach Bagans with it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think they take it as far as him, with the
Yeah.
D word and all
No.
of that sort of stuff. So
I don't think they ever have.
no, definitely not. And I do appreciate that because that's the thing that I hate the most about Zach Bagan's stuff is sometimes I think a hole in the ground would be demonic to him. Like, just you can't demonize everything or else like what value is there in anything?
A woman after my own heart about that. Like, literally, I have a feeling that he would trip over, something and go, oh, I got attacked.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I was
He's
about
done
to
that
say
like
the same
every
thing. I
time.
just tripped over my toe. Oh, it's a demon.
Yes.
Something struck me, or I feel oppressed.
Yes. Every episode. I feel this strong oppression against me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not how that works. But if it sells, it sells.
Yeah.
There's a sucker born every minute, some people say.
Yeah.
But they're the ones
I'm
getting
a
all the
sucker
money,
too.
so they're doing something right, I guess.
They sell.
Yeah, they sell. I mean, it's entertainment.
I mean, I guess if I had to make myself Oompa Loompa orange and go to the gym every day and make untold thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, I could probably withstand it too. But at the same time, I would like to think that my morals and values are worth a little bit more.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now on that note, since we're obviously not over dramatized multimillionaire paid investigators, how do you all tend to deal if you happen to be on an investigation and you're just not getting much of anything? Nothing burgers are on the menu and there are aplenty.
That's why we like the people we're with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try different methods,
smooth.
Yeah. So, what do y'all do when you basically tried everything and you've been there for hours and you literally have not gotten anything? I know that's most likely happened to you guys. It's definitely happened to us.
Ash, do you remember Sir Mix-a-Lot?
Yeah.
We were not really getting much in a jail. And so me and Ash decided to play Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back, and we just turned it on and started jamming, and the equipment started going crazy. Like, and it was a good 12 feet away. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Nice.
But it's like I hadn't gotten anything all night long. And I just turned a song on my phone, set my phone down, and we shook our butts. And it was fun. It was like a stress breaker because I had a horrible migraine anyway. But it was definitely kind of like a fun time. And I didn't think that it would result in anything. I just thought if nothing else, we were having a good time.
There you go.
But the activity just spiked though. It was crazy.
It's awesome how
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, it's awesome how you can go some places and get absolutely nothing, but as long as you're having a good time, and then you might see the activity actually spike. And then you can go some places and have tons of activity and just you start reacting with it and then it just bottoms out to nothing.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if Ash, you might feel the same way I do on this. Amber, I don't know about you. But I have a hard time paying to go to some of the really high dollar places because you never have a guarantee that you're going to get activity doing what we do, period. No matter if it's supposedly the most haunted place in America. It can depend on the spirits. It can depend on the energy that your team brings. It can depend on the night of the year. There's no guarantees. So for me, I have a hard time paying the premium at some of these really high dollar places, knowing that we've really had some great hole in the wall places that have been super active and cost next to nothing to go to. And I get that some of them are like a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
And I will be going to one place in the next couple of months and paying way too much.
Is
Because
it Waverly?
Nope, sure not. Sure not.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and I think everybody in our, well, I don't know if Philip's been there. I can't remember if Philip's been there or not. I don't think he has. He had the opportunity, but he would have had to take off work, so I don't think he did. But I think half of our team has been there, but I have not. And honestly, I don't care to go there because from what I hear about the activity there, like I would just have a hard time justifying it.
Right.
But the only place that I'm going to pay like a super high dollar premium for, we got invited to go there, and it's a massive group of people, which makes me like, oh, but at the same
Oh.
time, it's like a place that we will never ever get to go again. And I don't think that I'm supposed to say where yet. So,
Okay.
but
Gotcha.
that's probably going to be the one and only time, only because I'm going with Philip.
Oh no, our current call ends soon.
You're
All
not
right,
supposed
so-
to announce that.
Well, my bad. My bad. All right.
Gotta be
So
cash with it.
on the flip side, this might end up being one of our last questions, depending on how long we talk about it. But on the flip side, what are some things that you think is important to avoid doing when on an investigation?
The
You guys-
no-nos. What are your
Well, I
no-no
mean,
zones?
definitely. Well, I think definitely like when you're walking, try not to, because EVPs are very hard to get, especially when you're around a lot of people. So try not to cover that up or talk too much. Or I know that's like a pet peeve for me when I'm trying to like listen. I don't. Go ahead, someone else.
But talking on that, whispering. When people
Yes.
whisper while trying to do EVPs and stuff.
Yeah, contaminated evidence in
faking
general,
evidence.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like marking things, like if we get lots of belly gurgles because we like to eat before we go, so we get lots of belly gurgles, so we're like, oh, that's my stomach. And then if you got like, don't wear like jewelry that makes noises like rattling,
Like bangles and stuff.
yes,
Jingle
no bangles.
jangles.
A lot of people are like, no perfume. To be honest, like I have a relatively strong sense of smell, and I don't have very much issues. But we only been one place that we had like phantom smell, and it was like insanely strong, and it kept growing and growing and growing. So it
Oh,
was like
wow.
impossible.
We haven't
Yeah,
heard
it was
that yet.
Me
impossible.
either.
And I think both Ash and Amber smelled it too there. I know that I smelled it, and then I dragged people around like, you smell this, is this me? But then I think the other thing is a no-no. We don't believe in like antagonizing. We go in,
intimidation.
yeah, we go in acting like we're meeting people for the first time, rather than asking them for tricks like a circus performer, or being belligerent and trying to force them to react, because if you get an angry reaction, you might get a reaction, but are you going to like what you get?
Exactly.
You don't know what might go home with you besides your phone.
I think we already have some stuff. I know one of us already has several things that likes to, and I think some of them hitch rides with her places.
Oh.
So are we talking
Ooh.
about spirit attachments here, or?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So who here has the spirit attachments?
I think little Amber has lots of things that live with her that make themselves known, but I think they also occasionally hitchhike with her as well.
Guys, we talked
I make
about
friends.
this. Those are called children. They have names.
She has
Oh, that's great.
I
Sorry.
don't think they stay long because of my children.
Understand that.
They go, no.
They get a little antsy too. They're like, when are we going to the next place, man? Come on.
No, I do have a lot of things that either come home or just stay with me. I don't know. It could be because I do have a lot of family members on the other side. Like I said, my sister passed away, my mother passed away. I have aunts and uncles, grandparents, everybody on the other side. But I have, like, I was sitting in my office chair the other day, and all of a sudden my door just slammed shut.
Oh wow.
I have pictures that just fall off the wall randomly. My child was in there. My child was in there trying to get something off of the cabinet, and there was a salt and pepper shaker that just kind of fell off. So just random things fall
Boy,
off shelves.
yeah.
It's just all over the place. Happens often. You
I
get
think it's
used
because
to
you're
it.
small and welcoming.
It could be. I don't know. I'm 5'1" with shoes on.
Yeah, the shoes don't count, honey. Those shoes don't count.
You're still- Oh, that's great.
It counts to us.
All right.
Let's see. Well,
Before we wrap it up, do you have any final questions?
I have the most important question. Where can we find you guys on the wonderful world wide webs of webs?
So my amazing husband, Philip, he's our tech guru, and he does most of the social media that goes on there. But Illuminate the Beyond is on TikTok. We also have a Facebook group that people are welcome to search for. I think we have to let you join, but it's not where you can't find it. It's not like private or anything like that. We also have a YouTube, Illuminate the Beyond. We actually post a ton of raw footage there. So if somebody did kind of want to see what we're like on an investigation, if they wanted to kind of get a feel for us, they're more than welcome to check out our footage there. Philip makes some hilarious TikToks. We have a backup TikTok that I run. Yeah, no, I occasionally like get on lives from it, but really
Nice.
Philip is the one that creates a ton of stuff. He drives a tractor trailer, so he'll come up with ideas and stuff, and I'm just like, I work from 7:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. and then I just want to die in the bed.
Yeah. Oh, and I just
Definitely
recently
get that.
found your Instagram as well. So there's
Oh,
that.
yes, we do have an. And to be honest, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Clapper.
I know of it.
Clap
Yes,
on,
so
clap off.
we always joke we have the clap as well.
We made that joke.
Yeah, you made that joke earlier.
Yeah, me and
Full
Philip
circle.
always say we have the clap.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, and of course, we'll make sure to get all that linked down in the description down below. So,
Thank you
from
guys so much.
my pleasure, from the only Phantoms and Illuminate the Beyond, thank you so much for coming on out, and we wish you a spooky time.
And before we go, we have to give a shout out to Mysterium Inc. and Jennifer Pierce for following us on Patreon.
We do.
Awesome.
Thank you.
CC.
Y'all have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for joining us for this this little adventure we had tonight.
Yay! Take care, guys.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.